let's just touch on that. You have not gotten into the Hall of Fame yet. Can you please explain to me why? There's two guys I'm sitting here thinking about just off the top of my head, yourself and Fred Taylor.
Yeah.
How does that work?
I don't know how they do it. You know what I mean? But when you have 100 touchdowns, and
you've done some scoring,
and you were the #1 high school player in the country.
You
break all the records at Alabama.
Yeah.
And then you get to the pros and they say, well, maybe your line was just good. I'm like,
pulled up, made my appearance. You can't sit with us without clearance. That lame shit, never let it near us. And your girl'll choose my team cause you still living with your parents. Flexing on the gram with your paycheck. Stop showing off them bills you ain't paid yet. Couture 101, this ain't made yet. My gang never plain like we came off the same jet. I'ma need a section cause we tryna.
LaVar Arrington here. Up On Game presents Conversations with a Legend. I got my man, another litter mate, Shaun Alexander, the great running back from Seattle. You may also know him as the great running back from Alabama. He was a Roll Tide guy kind of guy. He used to tote the pill a little bit, did his thing. Well, not just a little bit. He actually really, really toted the pill. Hey, man, I appreciate you making some time for me.
No doubt, brother.
I mean, in between all of the bottle feedings and the diaper changing and the sandboxes and do you do a full family team like calisthenics like hour? Like, is it the Alexander hour?
We have
Talk
done that.
to me.
We have done that. And so I don't know if everybody knows, but we are pregnant with baby number
Man,
13.
Congratulations. If you didn't hear what he just said, he is ready to have baby number what?
13.
Okay, let's start there because we got a lot to get to. We're going to get to Cafe Momentum. We're going to get to Stand Together Foundation because you have always been just the most upstanding, kind of the model of what a person is supposed to be and how they're supposed to handle it. So we're going to get to that.
We'll get to it.
But you wasn't just getting touchdowns on the field, my G.
On and off the field.
You was getting touchdowns off the field. I mean, how does that happen? How do you get to baby 13?
A lot of focus. Yeah, you know what? When we had our three oldest girls when I was playing, and when I retired, my wife was like, "Gosh, I really want to have 3 boys." And then after we had 2 boys and then 2
so
girls.
you're up to 5.
Then we
Okay,
had 2
you were
girls
trying to get the 3rd boy, but
Yeah.
then you went to
2 more girls.
So then
We
you
got
went to
to
7.
And
Okay.
then she said, honestly, this is kind of flowing. Like, what if we just didn't care? And we literally had like another boy,
Okay. Now you went to 3.
and then we went to 4 more girls. And she said to me, I think we can get to 5 boys. So now we're on 13. Here we go.
What's wrong with y'all, man? what is like?
Something in the water, ain't it?
I mean, listen, I've heard of loving relationships. This redefines what a loving relationship what it is. So, and you were okay with it.
Yeah.
You went along with it.
Yeah.
And
I was a part. Had to.
You had to do your part.
Had my say.
You had to deliver the goods. All right. So now you guys end up on 13. Are your kids like? It's got to be a vast array of personalities and how they do things. None are multiples. I got that off you yesterday because in my mind I'm like, all right, I have 5, but I have multiples. You know what I mean? So I had 1 less pregnancy and ended up with 5 kids with 4 pregnancies. But you've done it all 13. You've done it the old-fashioned way.
Yeah.
You got it out the
One
mud.
at a time.
What are they like? What's that like being in a home with that many people?
Yeah, it's a lot of fun. It's definitely work, you know what I mean? So our oldest is a freshman in college, and we got a baby that's coming, and we homeschool.
Okay.
And so by doing that, everybody learns differently, and so now we allow the room for everybody to.
They're probably ultra smart.
Yeah, they are.
Your home, like the way you're homeschooling, I could see it's probably like what are the schools called where you go
the
to
Montessori
Montessori school.
Where they kind of learn at their own pace.
Their own way.
They kind of whatever they're good at. That's kind of where we wrap it around. So like my oldest daughter, you could throw a bunch of books at her and be like, hey, graduate school before we done.
Right.
You ain't got to say nothing else to her. She'd be like, boom, 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 boom. She'd come out there speaking Spanish, telling you everything's about politics, tell you everything about science. That's her. She can play like 3 different instruments.
Right.
You know, our second one, if she went to public school, she'd be the lead cheerleader. You know what I mean?
You do
She's
know
social.
that this interview isn't long enough for you to go through all your kids.
I know.
Isn't that crazy?
No,
do you know that that's crazy? We don't even have enough time to go through all your kids.
No, we don't. No, we don't.
Because we would be here. That's a documentary.
It is. It is. But they're all different. And so you just kind of ebb and flow.
Any athletes? Any Shaun Alexanders?
My oldest son played tackle for the first time, 7th grade. They won the Super Bowl.
Okay.
The next one's going to come, and he's going to play 6th. So I have a 6th grade and 8th grade.
Okay.
They'll both be pretty good.
They're pretty good.
But that third son,
dog,
day one, walk up. He's that dude.
Catch me outside.
7 years old. Walk up there and be like, look, I do a show with Emmett. He come over and said, are you any good? I'll be better than you and him. And he pointed to me.
Wow. That's high praise.
That's when he was 6.
That's high praise. Okay, before we get into the foundational work, let's just touch on that. You have not gotten into the Hall of Fame yet. Can you please explain to me why? There's 2 guys I'm sitting here thinking about just off the top of my head. Yourself and Fred Taylor.
Yeah.
How does that work?
You know, I don't know how they do it. You know what I mean? But when you have 100 touchdowns, you know,
you've done some scoring.
And you were the #1 high school player in the country.
You
break all the records at Alabama.
Yeah.
And then you get to the pros and they say, well, maybe your line was just good. I'm like, my line was good.
Yeah, but
I
so
still had to
was
go put in the work.
So was Shaun Alexander.
Yeah, you know.
Shaun Alexander was good.
Yeah, and so so it gets weird when you talk about it.
Right.
But I'm just gonna wait my time and do what I'm supposed to do. But man, life is good. I put in the work.
Yeah.
We broke some records. We changed that franchise.
Sure.
And Seattle,
y'all changed Alabama too, by the way.
Yeah, Alabama.
Y'all was historically good, but y'all had ventured away from being good. Y'all was okay.
Yeah.
And then it came back with y'all.
Yeah, yeah.
You know?
So we changed a lot of things.
Changed a lot of things.
And I know when I got to Seattle, they had only had 3 playoff years.
That's
and
right.
We went 5 in a row.
That's right.
And got them in the Super Bowl. So we changed the culture of a whole team. And we're really proud of that.
Talk to me about Cafe Momentum and Stand Together Foundation.
Yeah, you know, I went to a summit with Stand Together Foundation, and it's about like 700 of some of the most successful businessmen, women, and philanthropic leaders in the country. They put their money and their mind to helping people that are doing great work in the communities all over the country. And they introduced me to Cafe Momentum. Mm-hmm. And so we get there, and we're making biscuits with these kids that came out of the juvenile system in Dallas. And, you know, my wife, we got to adopt some of them.
Right.
I'm like, no, we can't.
Why not?
No, we
Why
can't.
stop at 13?
You know,
Let's go to 20.
And so I go in there and I learn there. I mean, what they did is they put social workers and psychologists and after-school program directors. And I said, man, they put the mamas and aunties and uncles and cousins around these kids, and we start seeing success. Recidivism, which means you go back to prison. That's at 50% all around the country. That means you're a juvie. You'll be in prison when you get – half of y'all be in prison again. The kids that go through Cafe Momentum is at 11%.
That's awesome.
And I just said, let's put one of these in every NFL city.
Awesome.
And so we got Stand Together to come and put some more money in. We've got the NFL Inspired Change. We've got Players Coalition. So we're just looking for anybody and everybody that's willing to go help change the juvenile justice system.
That's all right.
Let's go do it. So I'm getting influencers from the different teams, legends and current players. And right now we start Dallas. We just broke ground for Nashville and Pittsburgh.
Okay.
And we'll have 5 more cities next year. I think it's Houston and Atlanta, Denver. There's 5 more. And then the goal is to be in all teams, all cities in 10 years.
That's awesome, man.
Change the system.
That's an awesome, commendable approach, man. Make sure y'all support my man, Shaun Alexander.
Yeah, go standtogetherfoundation.org/Shaun. SHAUN.
There you go. There you go. And all the kids that Shaun supports, y'all make sure y'all reach back and y'all support too. If he can handle 13 in the house, 12 heading on 13, and the kids that he's supporting in the cafe and Momentum, you can get involved too, all right? Make sure you get involved. This is my man, Shaun Alexander. This is Conversations with a Legend. Up On Game presents. Pace-O-Matic is the sponsor. Shouts out to them. Yeah, we'll be back.
Trying to do what we do. I know I'ma make it cause I need to. Feeling like Shaun, I'm the Don. she the